Pew 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 pew. Pew pew pew. Hello.
What are you doing?
Sound effects, yo. Anyway. Welcome to Drawing Conclusions. Today we're talking about a little change of pace here. Not a TV show, not a movie. A video game. Star Wars Battlefront II by EA.
And actually, to be clear, Josh will be talking about Star Wars Battlefront II, because my interest in video games ends at...
Not at all.
Well, no, like I liked that American Idol karaoke game, and that was like it. Well, actually, like I was a ColecoVision girl back in the day, but that was a long time ago.
ColecoVision was great. Anyway, they just released new skins for the Clone Army, featuring the 327th Star Corps and the 41st Elite Corps. Now, those would be, fans of the Clone Wars know what I'm talking about. Anyway, and so it kind of like, well, okay, they had this build up to this big update, and it's just basically skins for one of the armies that you can play as.
So basically different armor, is that what that means? Skins?
Yeah. Different color. It's not different armor. It's the same armor. Just has different colors on it. That's which is cool, but it's like, why did you do this stuff at the beginning of the game's launch? I mean, there's so many things that they could have done with this game, and to be fair, I do like this game. It's not the greatest game I've ever played, but most definitely not the worst. I think it's a good game. The gameplay is fun, pretty fast-paced, and there's a lot of variety within the various game modes within the game itself. But the updates come few and far between, and I think if they really want to improve this game, like to a really substantial level, I mean, three things that I would do. First would be just add more weapons. Like each class has only 4, and like a little smattering of like modifications you can do to each weapon. And
ridiculous to only have 4.
It is. It's
I'm
pathetic.
Infuriated.
You should be. I know you're mocking, but that's okay.
What's like a normal? What's a good number that they should have? 4 is too few.
Well, for instance, EA, the company that creates this game, also creates the really popular series Battlefield, and each class in that game has at least 20.
Oh, yeah, that's a big difference. Okay,
and within each weapon, there's a certain amount of modifications that you can do to the gun.
Okay, so your number one thing to improve, more weapons and more modifications.
Yeah, and more inventory, like, different grenades. In this game, they use what they call, like, star cards or, like, kind of an upgrade card. You can have more of those, too. I mean, we've had, like, the same set since the game launched, like, well over a year ago. I don't remember exactly when.
So anyway, what's the second thing they could do to improve? More
maps. They've got a good number of maps, but it's kind of stale, in particular where the Clone Wars is concerned. They only have, I think, 3, which would be Kamino, Naboo, and one other, Kashyyyk. They only have 3, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty thin. They're supposed to be releasing Geonosis later this year, which is great. And so that's good news, but they need to do more of that. I mean, the Clone Wars, the cartoon itself was so very popular and actually saved the prequel movies, in my opinion. Anyway, moving on. Third thing, special units and heroes. And again, I'll focus on the Clone Wars side of things, because they had so many Jedi heroes that, I mean, it's just no endless amount to choose from. And like the only person they have from the Clone Wars era in this game would be Darth Maul and Yoda, even though he spans both.
People.
Yeah, 2 people, excuse me. And then
Yoda's kind of like a...
Yeah, he was in all of them, so...
Right.
And then they have special units. Like, the special units for the Clone Army is, like, they have a Wookiee warrior, which would make sense when you're doing the Kashyyyk map, and a jet trooper, which they all have. Why not have the ARC troopers? Or if they want to do, like, some really sweet heroes for the Clone Army, take the clone commanders that actually led them into battle. I mean, there's just Captain Rex, Commander Cody, Commander Neo, Commander Bly, Commander Bakara. I mean, just endless amounts of these guys.
There's a ton of commanders.
Yeah, well, they all commanded their own faction of the army.
I see.
And so, like, for instance, the ones that they introduced in this game, the 327th Star Corps was commanded by Commander Bly, and the 41st Elite Corps was Commander Gree. And so they just have a ton of things that they could do, and so many more things, and they're just not doing it. And so it's kind of a downer. But they do have some nice things on the horizon, but they're toward the end of the year, November, December, possibly first of the next year. And so they're working on it, so that's cool. But anyway, the game is fun, and they are moving steps in the right direction, but they could have done all these things at game launch. I mean, there's no reason why they couldn't. And
so, but anyway. I have to say that I'm grateful that they don't have all of these things in the game, because if they did, that might mean that you would spend even more time playing it than you already do.
You know, I actually don't play it that much.
I know, but I just like to tease you about being a video game widow.
Yeah,
He's actually not bad, I promise.
I'm not. Anyway, it is a fun game. I do recommend it, and they are making it better, and I am actually kind of excited for a lot of things they have on the horizon. Like, they are finally going to do a conquest mode, a real one, mirroring the old Battlefield games and the old Battlefront games on the original Xbox. Which, why they didn't put these in this game or its predecessor is beyond me. Mind boggles. Like, why they didn't do this.
Now, Boggle, there's a funny game.
Yes, Boggle is. They need to make that into a video game. Forget the real thing. That's... No. I kid.
Oh, you.
Anyway. So, in honor of this update, I have drawn the two commanders who commanded the 327th Star Corps and 41st Elite Corps, respectively, both Commander Bly and Commander Gree. So,
good job.
Thanks. I did a good job.
All right, so that's it for drawing conclusions. I mean, maybe Josh had more to say, but I'm done hearing about this video game. So that's it. We're going to wrap up.
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up. I've been told we're done. We're getting the cut sign.
Thanks so much for joining us. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to check out our Patreon. Josh pretty soon is going to have an art tutorial up there. We have our podcast up there. We'd love to get your thoughts about other things that we could do with the Patreon to make it more enticing. So hit us up in the comments, and thanks so much.